I'm Kimber. This is Bridge to Yoga, and this is going to be a gentle, slow flow. And we're going to work on the solar plexus here. So to begin, find a comfortable way to be here. You can start either seated like I am. You can put a block under your sits bones to lift the hips so that they're a little bit higher than the knees. Or if you want to lay down and stretch out and begin reclined, that's also an option for you. So once you have your chosen beginning posture, begin to soften your eyes. Let your neck relax. Let your shoulders and your chest soften. Trying to find acceptance for where you are, for how you are, for the current state of your body. Now, yoga has personally taught me a lot about acceptance. And I know acceptance can be difficult, especially when we don't agree or when we don't like whatever is before us. For instance, I'm not caring too much for this mild pain and injury I have in my right hip, and it feels limiting at times, but when I accept it for what it is, accept my limitation, accept that it's making me move differently, then what I'm doing is continuing to move forward. When we accept what's in front of us, we're not necessarily agreeing to something permanent. And I know it feels that way sometimes. We're agreeing to a single moment in your life that's led you to now. Acceptance is not giving up. Acceptance is removing the denial, removing the obstacle, so that you can move forward on your journey. Now, let's move forward by taking a long, slow breath in and out. Inhale again, and listen to the air come in at the back of your throat. Exhale, feel the movement in your sinuses. And again, continue to breathe, finding appreciation for who you are, finding acceptance for who you are in your entirety. And once more, breathing deeply into the belly, feeling your aliveness in this moment. And exhale, let it go. Good. Now let's open your eyes. If you're seated, let's go ahead and take a reclined posture. Take the legs nice and long. And we're going to move into a version of banana pose or bananasana. So with your left arm, inhale that left arm up, and then exhale, let it rest so that the arm is close to your neck, resting on the floor. Good. Now let's move that left hand over to the right side a bit. So the right shoulder is going to come down, the right fingers a little closer to the knees. And just find this resting posture, resting stretch throughout the left side. On your next in-breath, let's lift the left knee, straighten the shoulders, interlace the fingers, and hug that knee or that leg in towards the body, but angling towards the left side. Good. On your next exhale, release the left leg and stretch it long. Now let's breathe the right arm up And exhale the right arm down to rest on the floor. And find that tilt in the shoulders. Reaching the left fingers a little lower on the mat, a little further away from the shoulder. Let the right elbow rest. And see how that opens the shoulder here. Good. On your next exhale, bend the right knee, bring it up towards the body, level the shoulders, hug that right knee in and away. Beautiful. Let's release that right leg and bring the right foot to the mat and the left foot to meet it at its side. And then let's start to find some motion here from side to side. Keep the feet fairly close together. We don't want the feet too wide. We're working on our solar plexus, so that's the space just below the rib cage. The muscles that are right around the stomach and above the navel. Good. All right, we're going to take our block, our yoga block, and if you don't have a block, that's fine. You can do this without one. But place that block between the knees if you have it, and let's lift the feet off of the mat. Good. Now let's continue with that side to side motion. Feeling the engagement of the belly. Maybe lifting the head here. Breathing in and out. And then lifting the feet, coming into a little bit of waterfall. You can rest the head here. Maybe pressing into the right palm and then the left palm, assisting in that movement. And let's release this movement, release the posture, and remove the block entirely, putting it aside. Let's roll to the right side. So press to come up onto the right elbow so the right palm is facing the ground, extending the right leg long. Now we're going to bend that top left knee, and that left knee is going to come in front of the right, or the left foot's going to come in front of the right leg. We're going to open the chest here. So make sure that the elbow is lined up with the body. So if you're curling forward here, this is going to be a little more difficult. So we're going to take that left hand, place it behind you, that left palm on the ground, and then try to create length through the spine here. So the crown of the head is pressing away from the hips. Maybe lifting the gaze, but not dropping the neck back. Slow, steady breath in and out. Good. Now this is one of my favorite stretches. So the left hand's going to come around and reach that left hand so that it's almost touching or close to the right elbow that's grounded. So the stretch you should feel is right between the shoulder blades. So this is the area that gets really tight. You want to press down with the right elbow and over with the left arm to really engage the stretch. So you're going to have some muscle engagement here on the right side, stretching on the left. Good. Let's release. So make yourself comfortable here, sustainable. And then we're going to take these left toes or the whole left foot and just move it behind the right leg and in front. And we just want to tap it for about 5. And notice the engagement that's happening in the belly here. And then once we've reached our 5, we're going to extend the left leg long. Good. We're going to come to the back, so rolling on to the glutes, elbows propped behind you, bend the knees. We're going to come back to those wipers. So we're also kind of lifting the heart and lifting the chest, keeping the shoulders engaged and not allowing the rib cage to sink and curl. So this is also strengthening our back as we do so. Get slow, steady breaths, just checking in there, making sure our energy is flowing. And then we're going to come to side Buddha on the left side. So I'm going to turn around, come to the other end of the mat so that I can face you. So the left side body is making contact with the mat. You're propped up on the left elbow, left palm is facing down. Let's bend the top right knee, place the right foot in front. And if that right foot is closer to the thigh or closer to the calves, all is good, okay? Just something that feels natural. All right, let's bring that right hand behind. Remember to line up the elbow with where the hips are. We don't want to be curling the spine in. Bring the right shoulder, open the chest, and lift your gaze without straining the neck back. Good. Now let's bring that right hand around. Tuck the right hand close to the left elbow and enjoy that stretch. Don't forget to press down into that left elbow so that you can relax the right side a little more. And release. So make the upper body as comfortable as possible, and then we're going to start those toe taps behind and in front. 5 of each. Good. Extend the legs long, and let's go ahead and come to the back and extend the legs long here for a moment. Come all the way down on the spine. Release the elbows. Give the shoulders a rest. And take 2 slow breaths. And bend both knees. We're going to do a little reclined or low bridge here. So you want your arms at your side, your palms facing the earth. Heels as close to the hips that's comfortable. Take a breath in, press into the heels, lift the hips, maybe even engaging the elbows slightly, just to take some of that pressure off of the shoulders. Remember, you want the legs to be making the number 11, not a V. And as the glutes engage, the low back engages, that wraps around to the core, to the belly. Exhale, release the glutes. Take a round of breath for rest. Now on the next inhale, press into the heels, lift for your low bridge. Relax the hips down. Good. Now let's come into a full wind removing posture. So both knees are close together and coming towards the body, hugging it in and doing whatever feels natural here, either using the palms to press into the shins, stretching the low back, or rocking from side to side or back and forth, even making circles. And in the next couple of breaths, we're going to make our way to seated. So either roll to your side and press with your opposite hand, or rock to the top. So we want to extend the legs long. So reach the feet towards the top of the mat. And we're going to do a little walking boat. So what I mean by that is we're just going to be doing leg lifts one at a time. And you can increase your challenge by doing no hands, hands at your side, or hands behind you to make it super easy. So we're going to lift the right leg while pressing down with the left. So just like we're walking, we're going to have effort in both legs. And by pressing the heel down when the opposite one lifts, just makes it a little easier. Good. Notice your breath here. Good. Last one, back and forth. Good. And then let's release yourself into a forward fold. So heart coming closer to the knees. And even if you're barely reaching forward, we're looking for that stretch in the back. We're looking for a release in the back muscles down into the glutes. If you can reach your toes, that's great. If not, then hold on to your shins or your ankles. Take a slow, steady breath in and out. Release your forward fold, and we're going to come into a dragonfly. Let's bend the right knee, and let's allow that right knee to kind of fall out or guide it out to the right side. And we're going to bring both hands over to the left side. So coming into a little twist here. Good. Now let's point that right knee to the sky and move into another version of a twist. So this time the left shoulder is going to come towards the right knee, and place that right palm right behind the right hip, sitting nice and tall, pressing the crown upwards. Engage the belly to support the back and the length of the spine. Good. Release the shoulders to center. Straighten the right leg. Give the ankle a wiggle, the feet a wiggle, ankles a circle. Bend the left knee. Guide that left knee out to the left side. Good. And we're going to bring both hands over to the right side. So notice what your experience here. Feeling into that left hip socket. Finding acceptance for anything that you feel that's not quite what you want. After your next breath out, let's straighten the shoulders, coming to center. Point the left knee towards the sky and come into the twist on this side. So the left hand's behind, sitting nice and tall. Good. Relax to center. And we're going to do a little bit of a butterfly cup. So I've taught flower in the past, and this is very similar. So let's bend both knees. Keep the ankles almost to touch. Let both knees come out to the side, coming into Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. And we're going to lift the feet off of the mat while simultaneously balancing on the booty or the sits bone. So rock back, engage the belly, lift the feet, using both hands maybe to hold the feet together, and maybe press the feet into the hands to create a larger cup. Good. Take a slow, steady breath in and out. Let's slowly release. Good. Bring the palms behind. Open the heart. And relax the legs. Good. Now let's sit nice and tall so it's easier to close the knees. We're going to bring the feet a little bit away, but we want the heels lined up with the hip bones. Plant the palms behind you. We're going to come into a bridge. So make sure the wrists feel comfortable. The fingers are spread wide so you can distribute that energy away from the wrists. Inhale, press down and lift the hips. Good. So just like we did in that first bridge, check your legs, the shape. Bring the knees a little closer towards each other. Inhale and exhale, lower. Good. Pause for a full round of breath. On the next breath in, press down into the palms, lift the hips. One more solid round of breath. Good, and exhale, lower the hips. Stretch the feet long, and let's come into our forward fold. Okay, let's sit nice and tall and make your way to all fours, so a tabletop posture. Planting the palms. And let's create a bit of a wave here. So moving the hips towards the heels and then moving the hips forward towards the palms. Maybe not quite an upward facing dog, but just feeling the belly engage as the hips move away from the wrists, and then engaging the belly as the hips move away from the wrist. Good. Now let's find that same rock, but take it from side to side. And notice how the muscles are moving right around the belly button. Okay, we're going to take this into a low lunge. So let's start by extending the right leg straight back behind you, touch the right toes to the mat, and then point the right toes out to the right side. So you're creating like a long triangle of stability. Inhale that right arm up towards the sky. We're going to come into a low lunge here. So relax that right arm, but keep it elevated. Bend the right knee if you feel stable enough, and bring that right foot forward. So we're creating that 90-90 with the knees. Press into that front foot and lift the shoulders, kind of sitting tall in your lunge. And let's lean forward a little bit, opening that left hip. Continuing to pay attention to your breath, to your body, finding anything you need to accept that you didn't realize was present. Good. All right, we're going to take that left palm, place it on the outside of that right knee pit, and with the right hand, reach that arm behind you, coming into a twist. Square the shoulders as much as feels comfortable. Steady breath in and out. Good. Relax that right arm. Let's plant the palms and come into your version of monkey pose or Hanumanasana. I always have to scooch my toes forward a little bit so that when I send my hips back, that front leg is straightening. You can use a block here for support so that you can keep length in the spine instead of curling the spine. And the more you press down into the heel, the deeper that stretch is going to be throughout the back of the leg. Now, at the same time, you're actually strengthening that left quad. Good. Let's move the weight forward so that we can come out of this low lunge, out of this leg stretch, come back to all fours. And I know it's an awkward movement to move that right foot back. Once you come to your tabletop, sass the hips from side to side. Good. Let's do the left side. So extend the left leg back behind you. Create that triangle. And when you're ready, lift the left arm up towards the sky. Notice your heart rate. Notice your breath. Good. Now you can rest the left arm, bend the left knee, bring that left foot forward, press down into that front foot to come up. And let's just pulse it here like we did on the first round. Pulsing forward, even pressing into the top of the back right foot. Good. Now let's add our twist here. So the right hand this time is going to go on the outside of the left knee, and the left arm is going to reach behind. Feel into your spine, feel into your belly. Noticing all the muscles that are participating in this twist. Good, and let's relax the left arm and make our way into that monkey pose, Hanumanasana. So scooching the toes forward, maybe grabbing your block here, moving the hips back towards the back right toes, digging the heel in, lengthening the spine, and feeling into your strength here. Accepting your own challenges. And exhale, let's come out of Hanumanasana, awkwardly making that way out, tucking the left knee under the left hip. And let's come into a downward facing dog if you're up for it. If not, then let's just meet in a standing posture. Good. Let's roll the shoulders at the top. Wrap the fingers, or wrap the arms around the body, interlace the fingers, and open the chest. And feel the solar plexus stretching here as you press the fist down. On the exhale, release the fingers. Okay, we're going to come into a little side lunge. So let's step back on the right foot. Plant the right, or point the right toes out to the right side of the mat. Interlace fingers behind you again. Press the fist down, and let's find our side lunge. So putting a bend in that left knee, and then maybe pulsing in and out of that left knee. Good. After this next pulse, let's inhale both arms up. The right hand grab the left wrist, and then tilt, stargazer. So you should feel a stretch throughout that left side body. Lift the nose, lift the gaze, but keep length in the neck. Not relaxing the neck muscles, just stretching to gaze upward. Good. Release. Breathe in, reach tall, and breathe out. Relax the arms. So we're already pretty much facing this long right side of the mat. So let's heel toe in a little bit, and toes are going to point out, so goddess feet or frog feet, if you will. Let's inhale, arms up. Palms are going to come close to touch. All right, exhale. Let's bring it into heart center without bending the knees yet. I'd like to do a little Padma Mudra today. So press the pinkies together, the thumbs together. Bring all 6 fingers in the middle apart, so creating a lotus flower. And a lotus flower grows up out of the mud, through the water, and reaches towards the sun. Good. Now on your exhale, separate your hands, bend the knees, lower the hips. Let's bring the arms around and lower. Now create that Padma Mudra. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, round the arms down, lower the knees, lower the hips. Creating your lotus flower again, reaching upwards, rounding the arms. So pulsing it here, pulling up any frustration, any stress, any tension, letting it go, finding acceptance for who you are in this moment. Let's do one more. Inhale. Exhale, lower. This time, as you inhale, relax the arms, straighten the knees. Good. Let's heel toe the feet so that they're underneath you. Sass the hips if you need to, let anything go. And let's do that second side. So I'm going to face the back of my mat. Take a step back on the left foot this time. Angle the left toes out. Good. Wrap the arms around the body. And let's create that side lunge and start to pulse into that side lunge. And remember, noisy knees is a good thing, because if you didn't hear anything, that would be a little scary, especially if you're over 40. You're encouraging that fluid to be produced, to continue to be produced, I should say. All right, let's find our gazing archer. So inhale, both arms up, come up out of that right knee. Left hand grabs the right wrist this time. Tilt and lift your gaze. Good. Relax your arms down. Let's set up our goddess feet. Heels in, toes out. Now, creating your mudra again, we released our negative energy, our heavier energy. This time, we're going to take in energy. So, take a breath in. And as you exhale, bend the knees, lower the hips, come down with your lotus flower, and then release, round the arms up. And pausing here, taking in, creating your mudra overhead, pulling in positive energy, pulling in strength, vitality, good health. One more. And press down with the feet to release. Release the arms, roll the shoulders. Good. Let's heel toe the feet till they're underneath us. Sorry about this, guys. And let's find our way to the mat. So go ahead and take a seat. All right, let's bend the right knee and just hug it into the body here for a moment. Almost like the dragonfly that we did at the beginning. And maybe your foot has to be a little more forward. You know, it just depends on where you're at in your flexibility and the flexion of the hips. Sometimes if you've got really tight quads, you know, or even a tight hamstring, it's going to limit the mobility of the hip. But that's why we do yoga, right? Steady breath in, steady breath out. Let's lengthen that right leg and switch to the left side, hugging it in, sitting tall. Good. Lengthen the left leg. Circle the ankles and wiggle the toes, showing some gratitude to our feet. And then let's place palms behind, bend both knees, feet on the mat, and move the knees from side to side. And noticing the belly area. Now let's bring the ankles close to touch. Move the knees from side to side, dipping both knees together as far as you can down on each side. One more time. Good. Let's cross the ankles, sit nice and tall. We're going to come back into a tabletop. So make your way there in your own way, or just plant the palms in front of you and rock the hips forward. Uncross the legs, rock it back on the knees a little bit. And let's come into a little pigeon pose. You can also do deer pose just by putting your weight on that hip. Pigeon pose, we're elevating the hips at the center. So remember, finding acceptance for your limitations so that you can begin where you're at instead of where you want to be, which gets you nowhere, right? So let's bring the right knee forward to the center of the mat. Angle that right heel inwards a bit so that it's going to reach for the left hip socket. I always like to use my left toes to kind of scooch that knee back. That's going to make room for the hips. Now sitting nice and tall here, just for about 2 or 3 breaths. Adding, when we kind of lengthen our torso and sit tall here, we're adding our body weight over that stretch of the right hip into the glute, even in that right inner thigh. Now, using a yoga block maybe, allowing the heart to lower, maybe coming down to the elbows, resting the forehead on the block. And take slow, steady breaths here. Allowing yourself to relax into the stretch. Relaxing into whatever you find. Good, palms back to the mat. Let's move to the other side nice and slow. Start by tucking the back left toes. Scoot the left knee forward a bit. So you can move that right foot and stretch it back.
Now maybe reach those right toes to the back of the mat. Stretch the calf just to encourage that blood to flow back into the right leg. And then set up the other side. Left knee to the center. Angle in. Scooch the right leg back further. And sit nice and tall for 2 or 3 breaths. And then coming down to the elbows. Resting down. On the next couple of breaths in, let's come back up. And this time, we're just going to sit on that left hip, extend the legs long. Come to a reclined posture. And from here, we're just going to add any twist that you like today. Maybe it's just windshield wipering the knees from side to side, landing. Maybe it's elevating the feet so the shins are parallel, moving back and forth here, and then landing. Or whatever version of a twist that feels right. In the twist, usually arms reaching wide feel really nice. Gazing in the opposite direction of the knees. And even though we're in our restorative postures, we still want the breath to be deep, but with the intention of softening. So the belly is still rising. Let's move to the second side of that twist. Each time you breathe in and out, that diaphragm expands and contracts. But when you're not breathing into your belly, that is still expanding and contracting, but it has to work a little harder. So if you're chest breathing all the time throughout the day, your diaphragm is kind of suffering a little bit. Plus, when you breathe into your belly, it's the most efficient and effective way to breathe. It's just one way to be a little more generous with yourself, a little more kind, a little more caring. And then from here, adding some happy baby, lifting both feet off the mat. Maybe holding on to the ankles, the shins, or the outer edges of the feet. Pressing the heels up towards the sky, creating some resistance there, noticing what that does to the back of the legs. And then as you're coming into this posture, notice how engaging the belly impacts how this posture feels. And when engage the belly, of course, we're engaging that area of the solar plexus, which has been our focus of this class today. From this happy baby posture, you can extend the legs up towards the sky, coming into a waterfall posture, or creating any other shape or stretch that feels perfect. And then when you are ready, allow the eyes to close and the mind to get a little quieter. Observing your natural breath, this natural movement of life that's flowing through you. Sensing all the effort that you gave to your practice being released. Feeling your body shift down into a more relaxed state. And maybe even using your breath to help you let go. I know sometimes it feels so easy to melt down onto the floor, but sometimes it takes focus, it takes attention to those muscle groups. Noticing what's still clenching, what's still tight, what do I need to release? So give yourself this time to observe, to find and accept everything for how you are today, how you feel today. Letting go of what you can and accepting what you can't. Noticing what's required for you to allow yourself to melt down. Today I'm going to read from Melody Beattie, Journey to the Heart. And this entry is called Restore Your Natural Balance. Seek healing, a refilling of energy and spirit as soon as you see that you need it. You don't have to push yourself to give, to do, or perform when your body, mind, and soul and emotions need to heal. Seek and support your natural balance. Listen to your body, listen to your soul, and both will tell you what they need and when. If you aren't certain what you need, ask. Ask your body, ask your heart, ask the universe to help. Find the balance that's right for you. Become sensitive to your needs. And when you become stressed, depleted, out of sync, in need of help, seek help immediately. Nurture and care for yourself until you're in balance once again. Inhale
receive. Exhale, give back. Your natural balance is as necessary as breathing. The inhaling is the breathing in of life's energy. The exhaling is the sharing of your resources. You wouldn't expect to exhale if you hadn't inhaled. So it goes with healing, with our life force, with our energy. You cannot give out if you don't take in. Find the balance of receiving and giving, of taking in, of energy, and then giving out of energy in a way that works for you. Let the balance become natural. See how much more you do and you are. See how much better you feel when you keep your life force vital. You are welcome to stay in your posture, stretched out, resting for as long as you like. Thank you for joining me for this practice today. Sending you love and light. Namaste.